ideas and what to do with them. I find it interesting that I find myself encountering a lot of people who have really good ideas and have a clear idea of what they want to do with them. And often those same people find one particular hurdle difficult to overcome. And I say that because I'm very similar. I always find that I'll have a great idea, or sometimes even ideas that aren't necessarily great, but they make a lot of sense. And there's a lot of reasons why they should be acted upon. However, for whatever reason, I find myself not doing so. Whether that be due to laziness, lack of inspiration, motivation on that particular thing, whatever it might be. And sometimes it can take and does take somebody outside of yourself to push you or like motivate you to get your finger out your ass and like do something about it. But in some cases, that hurdle that is difficult to overcome is quite simply out of your control and out of your power. And like, what the fuck do you do when that is the case? That's the question really for me. Like, what do you do when that hurdle is out of your control? Because in two very similar cases, two people that I know well, that I'm friends with, both want to open two different types of gyms. One being a martial arts gym and one being a gym. And both have the same problem, location. That perfect location is never going to just land on your lap. And you're never going to find it. So how the fuck do you find it? Like, it's such a weird... I don't even know what you'd call it. It's such a weird situation because, like, you know exactly what you do if you've had it. Your plan is clear. Your idea is clear and almost foolproof. Just barring that one thing, like when you need a location in order to execute an idea, how the fuck do you get that location? Even I, like, being the outsider on these two occasions, and often on the first occasion being the outsider that is nagging the person like, yo, when the fuck's this gonna happen? What are we waiting for? What needs to be done? So on and so forth. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin because it's one of those things where I feel like, what can you do? So whether you love him or hate him, like there was one thing that I heard from Andrew Tate that I thought was wicked. And he was just there like, whilst you spent 5 minutes thinking about doing something, I've been doing it for 20. Something along those lines. And that spoke to me. And it made a lot of sense to me. And it makes me think like, okay, cool. If you're taking that attitude for something like opening a gym per se, like how can you apply that attitude to finding that perfect space? Do you first have to accept that the perfect space isn't out there and doesn't exist? Or isn't in your price range, or just doesn't exist for you for whatever reason? Do you first have to accept that and then put in legwork? Or do you just do everything in your power legwork wise? Like whether it means going to every fucking estate agent within a 10 fucking mile radius. That's a lot. But for example, throwing your 2 cents out there, telling them what you know, what you want, what you're trying to achieve, so on and so forth. And then just hope that something gets to you. Do you scour the internet endlessly every night, seeing what's been put on the market, so on and so forth? It's a weird one because whilst you can always find a solution, well, I think that if one's being uber harsh with themselves, you can always find a solution to any ideas that you have that are not being executed, that don't require something as concrete as a location. You can always find a solution to that from a perspective of, okay, you have been given this idea of creating an email list for your channel in order to send out under a weekly newsletter or something. It's a great idea and it makes a lot of sense. I'm using a personal example right now. It's a great idea and it makes a lot of sense. You build your email list. Email lists are extremely valuable for businesses, so on and so forth. So why are you not executing the idea? Like, the only solution, I can't think of the way to phrase this. The only reason I'm not doing it in this case is because of a lack of inspiration behind it. A lack of clarity with regards to what I would put out there, right? But that's easy to fix. That's an easy fix. The fix is simple. You start an email list and you start just something weekly, anything. That's how I started this channel. It was very, very simple. The first video has no audio. It's just footage. The second video was my first attempt. Like, you just go and do it. You know what I mean? Doesn't really matter how good the quality is at the beginning, because like, you'll find your feet in that respect. So that's an easy fix. But when it comes to something like, I guess you could even throw moving out in there. If you've got the means to move out, the idea's there. How do you find that perfect place? I feel like home houses is a lot easier. There's a lot more options. But commercial property and businesses these days, and especially for things like gyms, like, I just find it so interesting and so like such a coincidence that it's come up twice in my life, not on a personal level, but for people around me. And it's a very understandable sticking point. And it's like, what can you do? Like, what can you do? The only thing I can think of is just legwork, just a hardcore legwork. You spend like a week just fucking going to every estate agent in the area that you consider opening and getting out there. But even then, like, and then, sorry, that being the solution, it's completely understandable that, like, you don't want to fucking do that. You want to fucking open a gym. You understand? Like, but I don't know, man. It's a techie one. But ideas, man. Ideas, and what do you do with them? I do love the idea that, like, you have a good idea, you just go and do it. I do love that. Like, and I do love that attitude. The attitude that whilst you've been thinking about it for 5 minutes, I've been doing it for half an hour. Like, that's a powerful attitude that I believe will carry a lot of men in today's society a long, long way, because a lot of us have idle ideas that are just getting stale and are just sitting there. Like, I guarantee you, somebody out there thought about the idea of a Pure Gym before Pure Gym, just did nothing about it, and then all of a sudden someone opened Pure Gym. Same with Uber, same with all these great ideas. Somebody thought about it first. They just thought about it for too long and didn't execute. It's the only difference between them and the owner of these companies that are now household names that we know. So it is potent, and it is an extremely valuable concept that I believe men and women, I'm pretty sure I just said men only, but men and women, just human beings, would thrive off adopting. Idea, attack it. Idea, do it. Idea, be it. Rather than idea, think about it, do it. Idea, think about it, be it. Just idea, be it. Boom. Have the idea, be it. Keep it simple. Keep it sharp. And just move forward. I guess it's the only option. But again, if you made it this far, thank you very much. And I shall see you tomorrow.